Seitzei concludes with the mitzvah Seitzei of Zechiras Mechias Amalek, remembering what Amalek had done to us when we left Egypt. Zoches Asher Oslcha Amalek Baderech Batzeichem Mitzrayim, how they attacked us, we were weary, and therefore there's a mitzvah Sasei besides remembering Timcha es Zecher Amalek Tachas Hashemayim Lo Tishkoch. You should obliterate the memory of Amalek from under the heavens. It should never be Lo Tishkoch. It should not be forgotten. Hashem says, Ki al Keiskoch, my Ekisi Shlema, my throne is not complete until Amalek is obliterated from under the heavens. What did Amalek do? So Chazal tell us that here the whole world stood in awe of us, and it's the equivalent of a unstable person jumping into a scalding bath. He gets burnt. So although he gets burnt, but factually he cooled the bath down for everyone else. The world was trembling because of what Hashem had done for us, the Kriyas Yam Suf, how he destroyed the Egyptian armies. And Amalek, this band of wandering people, go and attack us. There's nothing to be afraid of. So they cooled down, they so-called burst the bubble. They changed the aura which we had. They removed that aura. We are approachable. We're no different than they are. Therefore what? What exactly? So they did the wrong thing. They attacked us. Other nations also attacked us. But why is Amalek, although Amalek personifies evil, but it's the reason why they should be obliterated, it's not because they personify evil, because they attacked us on the way when we left Egypt. That's why, and all the other reasons, it's purely out of hate, because they wanted to tell the world there's nothing to be concerned about. We're no different than any other nation. But why is that something so terrible? So the simple understanding will be that because of that aura that we had and the world perceived us in such a special way, ultimately the whole world would have converted. Although at Sinai they didn't accept the Torah, it was only us, but we had that level of representation. And because we had that level of representation, we would have made a difference and the world would have reached its level of perfection through us. But once we were minimized as a result of this attack, we can no longer bring the world to Shlemos, to perfection. Therefore, all the Chil Hashem from that time going forward is due to Amalek. And therefore, Hashem says, they are the culprits for all the Chil Hashem, and therefore they should be obliterated from under the heavens. That's the simple way to understand it. The other way to understand maybe would be, Chazal tell us that Lo Ovdu Yisrael Se'egel El B'nei Ayin Hara, that when we accepted the Torah at Sinai, it was a public event. And because it was a public event, the nations of the world, there was a degree of envy, and they gave us the evil eye. And that Ayin Hara activated Midas Hadin, the attribute of justice, and because of that, we were vulnerable to the Chet Egel. This is what happened. Now, we had once mentioned the name of Ibn Ezra. There's a lav, there's a negative film, lo tachmod. You can have designs on your fellow's wife, on his property, on his animals, whatever it may be. So the Ibn Ezra asked, but how does one control this? How does one control envy and wanting to have what someone else has? If a person feels that way, how do we somehow minimize that and put in perspective that one should not have? She explains it with a metaphor that there's a princess and there's a prince, and the princess is gifted and poised and has beauty of one of a kind. The villager or the city person is not envious of the prince because he understands the princess only has relevance to royalty to the prince, not to a commoner. So anything a person understands has no relevance to him, he's not envious of. Doesn't come within his orbit to even have an interest in. As he says, is a person envious of a bird that a bird could fly and he's not able to fly, although he would like to fly? You have no relevance to it, and you understand that. So anything we understand we have no relevance to, there's no envy whatsoever. He says if a person would only understand that whatever each person receives in life is designed based on his mission, on his issues, So one person has no relevance to anyone else. It's no different than the princess to the prince. And a person would understand it has no relevance to you. It's removed from you. There'd be no envy. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us Torah at Sinai. Why? Because we were the descendants of Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Because we had a pedigree no one else had. And the world after Sinai understood this. That we are Banu Hashem Lokechem. B'chor B'ni B'chor Yisrael. We were the firstborn of Hashem. And as a result of that Hashem gave us in Torah is no envy. They are commoners, we're the princes. We're royalty. But what happened after Amalek attacked us? They're no difference than we are. We are approachable. Before that, we weren't approachable. As you don't enter into the palace because you're a commoner, you can't approach the Jew. But Amalek attacked us. They are approached. They're no different than we are. Once they're no different than we are, then there's an envy. Once there's an envy, we can talk about Ayin Hora. Once there's Ayin Hora, we talk about the Chet Egel. And because the Chet Egel, before the Chet Egel, we reverted back to pre-sin of Adam. After the Chet Egel, we went post-sin. And as a result of that, all the Chil Hashem in existence, that we didn't bring the world to perfection then, is due to Amalek's attack.